Alright, how you guys doing today? Today's story is coming from user slash C_stomach6139, titled, Random guys offer me and my friend 500 euros for a lift back to his house. Nowhere near as creepy as the other stuff I've read on here. Still very strange and have no idea. Me and my mate D are both 17 and cruising around our local area in his new car. Important to note that D had not passed his test, nor had insurance, therefore we usually drove around at 2 or 3 in the morning. We pulled up to our local petrol station to get some fags, as I had to go tea and didn't get ID'd, so we came here often. As we pull in, this pretty built dude asks us to roll down our window. We rolled down to get to chatting with him. He tells us that his wife is pretty angry at him because he's been on a bender and can't get home and is desperate for a lift back. Then he offers us 500 euros for a lift to a city that's only about 40 to 50 minutes away, and I'd be lying if I didn't say that our dumb 17-year-old brains immediately thought that this would be an easy payday. Then the reality set in that we were driving illegally. And we still didn't want to tell him that, so obviously we politely declined. He then gets really insistent that we have to give him a lift, like really insistent. I finally realized that he can surely get a taxi, and that the guy in the garage would definitely call him one, and it's not like he's short on cash, nor would the taxi even break 100 euros. So I say this to him, and he genuinely has no answer to it and just insists that we give him a lift. The actual conversation went on for about 20 minutes, but unfortunately I can't remember the details. I offer to book him a cash taxi, and after many attempts of convincing him on how much cheaper it is, he accepts. We say we're leaving now as we both are weirded out, and he just turns to us and say, "You guys are effing idiots." But we just kind of smile and start driving. Out of nowhere, a guy, even bigger build, runs out of our car and throws a drink all over D through an open window. Obviously, D is fuming and jumps out of the car and I follow. We walk up and the guy that we were talking to is profusely apologizing for his mate's actions. I remind D that we're driving illegally, and the last thing we want to do is get into a fight and the police be called. So we get back in, drive off, and cancel his taxi. The rest of the night we were trying to make sense of what just happened. It never sat right with me. I don't know why he was so insistent. Maybe so when we got there he could just jump out and run so he gets a free lift for him and his mate, but it could have been even to rob the car, but then knocking out 2 fully grown lads for a beat up dinger just seems like a lot of effort. I've always been genuinely curious as to what would have happened if we accepted, and how bad of a situation it could have been. And I got one more story for you guys, and this one is coming from user slash unlucky-sugar9875, titled, Creepy worker creeped my uncle and me out. So, my mom and dad were out of town and I was staying with my uncle, and was cooking something for myself, and then someone rang the bell. I opened the door and it was a worker. So, there was some construction work going on in the house next door. Nobody lives there, but the owners were just getting some work done in the house, and the worker came to my house to get a matchbox for, I don't know what reason exactly, but I gave it to him. While fetching the matchbox, I left the door open, and while I was bringing it, I saw that the man was weirdly checking out the house. I ignored it, but it felt weird. I gave him the matchbox, but he didn't just instantly go away. He stood there for almost 3 seconds, just holding it in his hands and staring at me. Creeped me out a little bit, but as usual, I ignored it and just closed the door. And I don't know why, but I peeped through the peephole just to see him, and he was still standing there, ogling at the door, and that scared me. I went inside and continued my work, and about 15 minutes later, the doorbell rang again. This time, my uncle checked the door, and the man was like, "Hello, your daughter helped me so much that I just want to return the gratitude and paint one of your rooms." And that sounded a little odd to my uncle, because painting a room for a matchbox? My uncle declined the offer, but the man was reluctant. He was like, "It'll only take 1 hour. I just want to color her room and make it beautiful. Please, sir, 1 room won't take that much time." Now my uncle's gut feeling was giving up. He was like, "Nope, this guy is something off." So he declined it one last time, and this time, when he seen him through the peephole, he too caught him staring at the door. This was mad creepy, and I don't know what his intentions were, but it definitely creeped me and my uncle out. And somebody in the comments says, "You should be careful who you open the door for, no matter how they're dressed. Police, delivery man, construction worker. Yesterday a home was invaded in Minnesota, USA, and 3 people were killed. The guy was dressed as a UPS worker." I recommend a doorbell with a 2-way talk function. Alright, that's going to be the end of the stories. Hope you guys have yourselves a fantastic rest of your night. Peace.